everyone. Welcome to Title the Podcast with Jo
and Jo.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Okay, so part two of our conversation from last week.
Yes. So we're still with Steph and Andrea.
Hello. Hey.
So we're gonna continue.
Okay, so last week we left off with the question of what if our families did not move to Canada.
Yeah.
And we heard stories from Jo and Andrea. So this week as we continue, so Steph,
your turn.
What if your family did not move to Canada?
Yes, I've thought about that. How life would have been so much different, I think. Because I grew up in Brunei. I don't know if listeners remember me saying that. I grew up in Brunei, so had we not immigrated, I think we would have finished off schooling there. I don't know how post-secondary works there. I think from the friends that we have left behind, who are also Filipinos, I think after they finished high school, what had happened was they moved to the Philippines. Because I believe post-secondary is only reserved for locals.
Really?
I think so. I believe that's how it is. Yeah, for locals, like people, like the citizens, basically.
So what did you finish in Brunei before coming over to Canada?
I was in grade 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in grade 5. So I think from how I understand it, so up to high school, if you're not a citizen, which the majority of people living there, even though they've lived there forever, they're still considered like not actual locals. Like there's a lot of Filipinos there, people from Singapore, Malaysia. They would just leave after high school, like if they have kids, but if their parents are still working there, they stay behind, but the kids would just go back to their parents' like country. And then like our friends, for instance, the friends I grew up with, they returned to the Philippines and continued their schooling there. So they went to post-secondary or like college or university or whatever in the Philippines. So I think that's what would have happened. I think we would have done that as well. I don't know if it would have been Manila or Davao. I have no idea. I can't, honestly, what if, like, even though I do wonder about it, I can't picture myself
living there.
Like living there. I was just like, because Brunei is all we know. Whereas my other Filipino friends in Brunei, even though they were also had similar thing where they moved, they were all like, how do I explain it? Even though we were born in the Philippines, we never really stayed in Philippines, right? Whereas them, I think they were born and they stayed for a bit until they moved when they were little. Or like they grew up in a much more Filipino household. I don't know how to explain it. So they could speak Tagalog, whereas us was we spoke only English. So I feel like for them it was a better transition for them to move, I think. Whereas us, I can't picture, I don't know, like I don't know what how life would have been had we stayed behind. Like, would it be Davao? I don't know. Yeah. Would it have been Davao? Can you imagine me going to school there? I would not speak the language. Maybe that's why my parents decided to move, because like, these kids don't know how to speak anything aside from English. I was like, we need to move somewhere where they speak only English. Who knows? Like, I don't know. I can't imagine like having education, like a post-secondary education in the Philippines. Maybe, is there an international university? I have no idea.
I mean, medium of instruction in the Philippines is in English. So studying for everything, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
That's basically our second language.
Yeah, medium of instruction is English, and even our laws and everything are written in English.
Yes, yeah. I think so. But like, how would that look like for me though? Like,
I think living there would have been difficult. Because then you have to interact with everybody outside.
Right.
You have to learn either Filipino or you speak Bisaya in Davao, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah. So,
but schooling would have been fine.
Yeah, like even then, like schooling, like what would I have done? I have no idea. Like I have no idea, like what I would have.
Steph, do you feel like you don't have any ties in the Philippines?
Yes, definitely. I don't feel, even though there are actual ties there. Like my parents are.
Like you personally.
Personally, me.
Because you've never known it growing up.
Yes, yeah. I don't. Whereas my parents do, right? That's why they've chosen to retire there and live there. So we don't have it. Our only ties now would be our parents there.
Yeah.
Even though we do have our aunts and uncles. And our cousins there.
It
doesn't feel like we didn't grow up around. We did and we didn't. Like we did in a way, meaning like we spent our summers with them. But it was very like, it still feels a bit distant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's for you. It's not really home. for
Oh
you?
no, yeah, I
Brunei.
don't think. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say no. If you were to ask my sisters, would they consider Brunei their home? I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think they would.
Should ask them
consider-
at church on Sunday.
Yeah, you ask them. I'm curious to know what they would say. I'm pretty sure they would say that they don't. They would just consider Canada their home. Yeah, like not even Philippines. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Whereas me, I'm like, for whatever reason, I don't feel like my identity really. Probably another episode.
Identity crisis.
Our identity in terms of our
Yeah.
culture, I don't feel really tied to identify. I do identify myself as Filipino, but like
Yeah.
how we were raised, like
Mm.
it's so different. It was like a different household compared to other Filipino households.
Yeah.
Like
Mm.
the household I grew up in. I don't know what it is, like why my parents, why I felt so different from other Filipino families. I don't know if it had to do with religion because we grew up in a Christian home, whereas a lot of Filipinos, I would say
Catholic.
Catholic, there's
Yeah.
a Catholic
Yeah.
influence.
Mhm.
Maybe that's why.
Or
So
Muslim, if they're from the south too. There's a lot of
yeah,
Filipino Muslim families.
sure,
there.
yeah. Like I don't know, my parents, I always felt like we were outlier. Like we're not quite Western either. That's why I always thought like, oh, maybe this is a more Bruneian thing. I have no idea.
Would you consider potentially moving to Brunei?
Moving,
Like
no.
or so let's say we got the whole education system wrong,
yeah.
and you could have done post-secondary or secondary in Brunei.
Okay.
Would you have would you have stayed there?
Oh yeah, like their education system there is pretty strong.
Mm.
It's like pretty high. They have a high education system there, and like good jobs. Like the way Brunei is set up is they want everyone to succeed. Like that's a type of what do you call
Society.
it? Society. Like
Yeah.
they strive for. Like honestly, like everyone will succeed. They will make
Yeah.
sure. Like it's just there's no like I don't know. From my point of view, it was younger. There was no such thing as like lower class. They want like that's why they only presented the opportunities strictly to locals because they want their country to flourish that way. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. So it's like belongs. Yeah, so I think that if let's say they don't have that. Yeah, I think I would have succeeded differently. Where it's such a we live in such a bubble like in Brunei. Honestly, it's such a bubble because it's such a far. I don't know if you guys know where it is on the map, but it's kind of
Vaguely.
like
Southeast Asia.
Southeast Asia,
Yeah.
Borneo Island. It's like
Mhm.
it's kind of isolated, so it's its own little world because the Borneo Island is just like the rest of it's jungle, right?
Yes.
And then there's this country,
Yeah.
like a tiny country that's like completely like it's like civil, like an actual like like organized and everything, but it's your own little. I don't know. It's like its
It's
own little world.
Yeah.
Really, yeah. So disconnected.
I have a
Yeah,
question at that.
yeah.
Like you lived in a sheltered bubble in Brunei,
The whole country was sheltered, to be honest. Yeah.
right? And then you have this layer of being Filipino, being outside, like being not a local, but having grown up there.
Yeah.
How did that prepare you moving to Canada?
Yeah, like if anything, I felt like our transition was better in Canada. I don't know.
Mm.
I imagine it was probably better. I don't know because like we moved similar age, so I felt like maybe because, like in Brunei, like culturally it wasn't that much of a culture shock if we moved here, so it didn't feel like I honestly, my sisters I think would agree. Like there was no culture shock when we moved here.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess you speak the language, that's why.
Yeah.
English, I guess. I don't know if that has to do with it, or maybe because Brunei was the way the country is. It's not like Philippines. It's like completely developed,
Developed. Yes.
So
right? So
kind of
they shop-
westernized.
Westernized. So everything that we saw here, we also saw in Brunei.
Yeah.
And they had white people in Brunei as well. Meaning,
Yeah.
like, there's a lot of Europeans that lived there, like, that was working for Shell, right?
Right.
Right? Because Shell is, I believe, Danish. Like, so they had a lot of Danish people working there, or, like, whatever, other international European people working there. So I was already, like, kind of exposed to that, like, as well. So, if anything, the only thing that felt different here was the seasons and, like, the greenery or something like that. Like, nature was a bit, like, new to us. We're like, wow. So the weather was a bit different. So other than that, like everything else felt
The same.
the same. Yeah. So it was probably a better transition. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my sisters would agree because it didn't feel like a big move. It was big in a way, but not. I don't know.
Like a big
Compared
culture
to
shock.
other-
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a smooth transition.
Yes, it was a
Yeah.
smooth transition. Like
Have you been back there since?
Brunei, we have. When we first moved, like a year or two after we moved, we went back because my dad was flying back and forth. Was still working in Brunei. Maybe that's what also felt like why there's we had still ties to Brunei because my dad was still working.
Yeah.
So we would spend our summer, like, we had summer break here in school. We would fly back to Brunei and spend our entire summer in Brunei, half in Brunei and half in Philippines, and then come back end of August before school started in September. So we really, sometimes we would leave right before school ended too. Like, it was like before even school was done, and we would fly out earlier and spend our entire summer in that part of the world. So yeah, we've been back, but I think that it's been a long time since we've been back to Brunei. Ever since my dad left Brunei.
Have you been back to Brunei as an adult? Because you've been back to the Philippines as an adult, right? You did some vacationing there.
Yeah. No, I have not. But my parents have been back a couple times after our last time there. But I do have a desire to go back to Brunei because I'm just curious. Because, I'm developed now.
Yeah.
I know, that's so questionable.
It's a fair question for all of us.
I'm assuming I'm developed, but who knows where I am.
Yeah.
But I want to, I feel like I've seen a lot now, so I wonder what it feels like now. It's much older and experienced life much more. So I don't know. I've always been curious, but my sisters have no desire. So I don't really want to go back to Brunei without either of them, because then it feels it's a shared experience, right?
Yeah.
Like, remember this? And I asked my parents if we would go back, and my parents I don't want to go back because they've already been back a couple times. So really, I don't think there's probably who knows. Never say never, but maybe down the road I'll go back. But yeah, I don't know.
So your sisters actually, because I know your parents fly back and forth with the Philippines, right? Would your sisters, if given the choice, say for example, for holidays this year, would you choose to go to Brunei for holidays or to the Philippines?
Philippines, because that's where my parents live, and there's a free home. So it's all about money. Because where I would spend less money, that's where I'm going.
That's fair.
So true.
Yeah, but
I want to take the conversation a bit differently.
Okay.
So Brunei is a Muslim majority country, yes?
I mean, it is a Muslim country.
Oh, right. Sorry, right. It is a Muslim country, right?
Yeah.
So then, how do you think your faith would have been different growing up in a Muslim country versus growing up in Canada, where it's a, quote unquote, a secular nation?
Right.
Right? Like, where I feel like, and this is coming from somebody who's only grown up in the Philippines and then now living in Canada, right? What do you think the challenges would have been, or how different do you think your faith journey would have been growing up in a Muslim country versus growing up in a country where religion is like, yeah, sure, you can have it, whatever, we don't care, you can do whatever you want?
No, okay, so, I don't know if this is going to surprise, or it wasn't, even though it was a Muslim country, you have the
freedom of religion still.
Yeah, you had the freedom. I don't know, maybe I was young, maybe I don't know. I gotta ask my dad about that, like how strict it was, but there were churches there. There were even Catholic churches where, they had, what's the word for co-ed, but for religion? Co-religion. So they practiced both.
Shared spaces.
Yeah, shared spaces. So it was a Catholic school. I went to all the churches were run by the Catholic churches. All the schools were run by Catholics. The Catholic Church.
So you went to a Catholic school.
I went to a Catholic school. We call it a convent because it was run by nuns.
Yeah,
so it was run by nuns. Yes, I went to a convent school, and then it was all girls, and then it was called St. Angela's because I guess same after Saint. All girls, but then since it's in Brunei, so they had in the morning assembly they would have a morning prayer, like the Catholic one, I guess. Yeah, but everyone has to go there and be present for that. We sing the national anthem, morning prayer for the Catholics, the Christian prayer, or whatever, and then after that, followed by the Muslim prayer or whatever.
Really?
Yeah. So it's
even at the convent, they still have to do a Muslim prayer.
Yeah, because it's open to everyone of any right. So
it's ran. It's ran by the Catholic
equity,
Church.
There's equity. There's inclusion.
Was that like a mandatory thing to have a morning prayer?
Is that a government mandated thing?
No, I don't know how it works. I don't know. I'm curious to know now. Those are good questions. But they had for instance, those who were Muslim or Malay, they call them Malay, right? Because that's their ethnic background. They would have separate classes for them to go to. Okay, now for them, they call it Bahasa, whatever. They will go to that specific class if you're Muslim. So you get excused, and we are obviously excused from it, so we don't go. But I think.
And where do you go? I
forgot what class we were, but they would leave class and then go to that class, and I forgot what I don't remember, but they would go for that because it was only people with who were Muslim went to that class. It was a religion. I think it was a religious class.
Studies.
So religious studies, yeah. But there was no Catholic religious studies though.
Oh,
There was
interesting.
there was no Catholic religious studies, but they had to go. So that was everywhere in Brunei. It was mixed. It was like that. Like there was churches everywhere. I think because it was. I think Brunei was colonized by the British. Don't get me wrong. I don't know. I don't know.
So we need to brush up on our history, guys.
It was just, Brunei is heavily influenced by the British because we drive on the left side of the road. Yes, and then the curriculum, how it's set up like
the British school system.
Completely like the British school system.
Interesting.
Yeah. They call it. We went to primary school. We call it primary. Yeah, and
Did
then
you go to the toilet?
yeah, there's toilets.
Do you call it toilets?
I have no idea what we call it, to be honest.
So long ago.
I was so long ago. It's like
So
when I moved
random.
there, it's just washroom.
Yeah.
Washroom. I don't know what to call it for Brunei now. But like,
In the Philippines, CR.
exactly. Yeah.
Comfort room.
Comfort room. Yeah.
Comfort room.
Yeah. So I don't know what it was called. Yeah, it's definitely like totally British influence.
But then when you moved here, did you go to a Christian school here or a public
no, just
school?
a public school. But I don't. Okay, going back. What was your original question about
how your faith journey would have been different if you stayed in Brunei versus living here?
So there's a freedom of your religion there because there's churches everywhere because of the British influence. I think it's the Catholic churches were set up everywhere.
Yeah.
And then therefore our church was not Catholic. Our church was
Christian church.
yeah.
What denomination?
I forgot now. What is that called?
Baptist, Reformed, Episcopalian,
No, it was just a regular.
Anglican,
It was like an
Lutheran.
Anglican.
Lutheran,
no,
non-denominational.
I'm gonna ask my dad. I don't know what church it is.
Pentecostal.
No, it wasn't not Pentecostal, but it's just not Catholic. Okay. So anyway,
It's Protestant. It's just
Protestant,
general
it's just
Protestant.
I think it's
Okay.
general Protestant.
Yeah.
I'm
So-
sure they had the denomination. You probably
Yeah.
you probably
So-
have to ask your dad.
But yeah, so they it's not it's not as strict. It's not as strict where you're not allowed to be a Christian or anything like that. So I don't think, if anything, because it's so sheltered, Brunei as a country. If anything, I think that's why our faith journey wasn't as tough. We were so sheltered, meaning
Yeah.
we were able to live a very good Christian life
Mm.
because there was nothing around us there's no temptation. There's alcohol is strictly prohibited.
Right, because it's a Muslim
Smoking,
country.
everything. It's so, and then even what you're exposed to, that they control the channels, what you watch on TV,
Yeah.
everything. So if anything, you're able to kind of live a life that's more pleasing to the Lord. Yeah,
Quote unquote holier
yeah,
than it was
even,
here.
Yeah, for sure. Even what you watch on TV, they would actually cut out certain scenes. Even you wouldn't hear curse words. So if anything, we would hear curse words from movies that we watched or something. Or here, I would never hear a curse word in Brunei until we moved here and people are saying it out loud.
Oh.
That's a culture shock.
That's a
Yes, that's a culture
big
shock.
culture
The culture
shock,
shock
yes.
has to do with that Western life of living,
Yeah.
meaning
Yeah.
what I guess we were sheltered from, basically.
Yeah.
The profanities.
The profanities, yeah, all this.
all the vices.
Yeah.
and
Yes,
all those.
yeah, all those things that could, that's sinful.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, and then that's why I asked that, right? Because
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people don't fully understand with all the different religions.
Yeah.
And then, especially with a lot of the people who live in the West, where the understanding always is oh, the West is great because there's freedom, there's no
Yeah.
religion, there's this, there's that. And then you talk to somebody like you who've actually experienced both, and you're actually looking back,
Yeah.
it was better for me to be
No, it was
in a
better,
Muslim country.
We were so blessed that we grew up where we grew up because
Yeah.
of we were very sheltered. We weren't exposed to a lot of things. So yeah, I'm very thankful. I can't imagine. But you know what? It was meant to be that we moved here. But I
Yeah.
can't imagine going from Brunei to the Philippines, basically.
Yeah.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
what if we didn't move? I don't know. I feel like it was meant for us to move, so it's hard to imagine how life would have turned out differently. I mean, who knows? I might have been married. Would I have been a career woman? I don't
With
think
a
so.
Brunei prince.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh! I could have married an oil
Tycoon.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! It's
This
okay.
isn't
Let's not
Brunei.
go there. Let's not go
That's
there.
for part 7.
Yeah.
Part 7. Delusion.
What is delusion edition?
I could have been one of his first of 5 wives. mind.
Wasn't one of the princes
Sultan? Oh yeah.
Recently, I think a couple years ago, he's like the most eligible bachelor of Brunei.
Oh yeah, he's already married now.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's gonna have multiple wives because that's like the tradition.
He probably would have.
Polygamy is like allowed because of that whatever.
In Islam.
So that's my take on
Your what
if.
if?
My what if. Not quite, because I moved when I was young, so really it's not really something I
It's
look
a
back
different,
on.
yeah.
Yeah. Joe, what about you? You now.
No, I was just gonna say it was interesting for you because I think between the four of us, yours is different because of the situation in Brunei, where education is, access to education is different for citizens versus non-citizens. And then your parents don't call Brunei home; they call the Philippines home.
Yeah.
So there's all these different layers of then you're like, yeah, well, if they did move to Canada, almost similar to Joe, where like you had two options. Joe had like the States or Dubai. You had like, well, would it have been Brunei or the Philippines?
Yes, that's a good point because I did ask my dad, like, Dad, what if we hadn't moved, right? Because you remember he like kind of like dragged it out until the very end, where they were contemplating maybe not, like maybe we'll just. Life was so easy in Brunei. And honestly, life was easy for my parents because of how it was set up there. So, and he was worried about like what he was bringing us into because of how sheltered we were. Like, oh my gosh, what are we bringing our kids into? But he
no
also,
censorship on TV.
Yeah, like everything, right? Like, so he
public
knew.
School.
Yeah, and he did hear that life was tough in Canada. He did hear that, like, that she was like, oh no, like, how are we going to be able? Should we take this on? Type of thing. So, but at the same time, he knew on the other hand that there wasn't much of a future for us in the Philippines as well. He knew that Brunei wasn't going to be our forever home. Let's just say that. Maybe that's why they never considered Brunei their home. Because he just knew that Brunei was never going to be their forever home. So they're like, well, Philippines, will it be their forever home? They couldn't really see that for us because even my dad had to move to Brunei, right? So he knew it was going to be challenging for us. So he's like, okay, well, let's make this move for them so they don't have to make this move like the way I had to move myself to Brunei.
For sure.
Yeah, so, he took that on, which I'm so thankful for. And like looking back, like thankful that he did all the hard work for moving us, our entire family, like here, making that tough decision, making those sacrifices or whatever.
Yeah, I agree.
That's tough because if I had to do that, like I don't know if I'm able to move a young family, like my entire group. Can you imagine? I can't.
That's another good question. Like, what if I put myself in my parents' situation?
Would I don't know.
I have made the same decision?
Would I have had kids?
First of all, yes.
Would I have chosen to have kids?
Yes, that's the thing, right? Like, I don't know. We have to be at that time. Like
very different time for them too.
Very different time back then to what it is now. Like, I don't think we would make the same decision at this time now. It would be like completely different. Like,
yes.
I don't know. It would be different. Yeah.
Agree. No, for me, it's. Thanks for sharing, Steph. It's interesting because it sounds like, at least for the three of us, right? Like for Andrea, for myself, and for Steph, our parents made that decision specifically with the idea in mind of, we want to build a different future for our kids.
Yeah.
Right? Like Andrea, for yourself, your mother was like, there's not much of a future for my kids here. Like, I'm set up, my husband's set up, but what will my kids do?
Yeah.
And then for yourself, your parents were like, well, we moved to Brunei because clearly there wasn't enough for us in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And now we put them here, but this isn't forever home because we can't be citizens here.
Yeah.
So we can't bring them back to the Philippines because that's where we moved from.
Yes, exactly.
So where do we take them now? For my parents, I think for us it was similar, where honestly, when I was asking my dad, he was like, why did you bring us to Canada? Like, what was the whole point? One of the main things he was saying was, I just wanted you guys to have a different passport.
Oh.
So it was like, I just wanted you to have...
Interesting.
Not like a different in terms of like giving up the Filipino one, but I want you to have another passport or a different one that would open up doors and opportunities for you. Because he was like... So when we moved, he was actually like, honestly, I don't care if you stay in Canada or not. As long as you get your citizenship and then you guys can go wherever you want to do whatever you want to do.
Right.
Because in his mind, he's like, I just want you to have that option. Because, it's not a secret to anyone that the Filipino passport isn't the strongest passport in the world.
Yeah.
Right? And then the constant having to apply for visas. And then the way certain countries would treat you if you go in there with a Filipino passport. And all these other things, right? And then the opportunities for being able to work in other countries with a Filipino passport versus a Canadian passport. So that was what they wanted, and that's what they wanted for us, and that's what they had in mind. So I'm looking back, I'm actually realizing it worked out that I did not get to finish my degree in the Philippines because I saw how it was like for my parents who had degrees in the Philippines coming over here. My mom had to go back to school to get licensed to be an early childhood educator. My dad had to work 2 jobs. My dad had to work at Target and at the dollar store just to have like enough money to feed like a family of 5 because his engineering degree did not transfer over. His work experience in advertising and in operations at the massive advertising company in the Philippines, he comes over. 1, advertising is very different in Canada. And 2, they don't recognize his work experience. Like in Canada, they're like, well, what have you done? And he has this extensive resume, but they're like, but we don't know those companies. We don't know what they do.
You don't have Canadian experience.
You don't have Canadian experience, exactly. And they don't have Canadian education too. So like, my mom is a teacher in the Philippines, has her license as a teacher in the Philippines, has a master's degree, comes over here, same thing. She started working at the bakery just to like have some pocket money while she went to school in the evenings and weekends because otherwise schools won't hire her. And then they're like, well, you're not this, you're not that, you don't have to. So I realized coming over here, obviously I was very bitter when my parents had to be like, okay, you're not going to be finishing in UP anymore. I was so mad, I was so bitter, and I come over here, by God's grace, I graduated from UBC, and so looking back, I was like, oh, if I actually graduated in the Philippines before moving over here, I would have been in the same boat as my parents, where I would have had to start working minimum wage jobs, and then probably had to go back to school anyways for something short term, something quick, so that I don't have to like sit through another degree.
But you would also, like, let's say you had graduated from UP and stayed in the Philippines, you would have just had a similar life to them where they work for the government, for instance, or whatever, like a good job. Whereas, meaning you would have stayed in that job because it was comfortable, knowing that life would be tougher in the Philippines, knowing that you can't transfer stuff.
I think the other thing, so I was going to get there, the other thing would have been, so that was the timing of us moving here. And that was the reason for us moving here. It's very similar to like your parents' Steph and your parents' Andrea, where they wanted a different future for us. Now, answering the question of like what would have been like if my family did move, you're right. I would have finished in UP, and my degree's in sociology. I started in sociology in the Philippines. I finished in UBC here, also in sociology. There's no career path for a sociologist.
Wait, why did you pick sociology then? What the?
I picked sociology because I saw it on TV.
Oh my gosh.
No, so quick backstory, quick side story, commercial break. When I was applying for universities in the Philippines, when you apply for universities, you fill in the application form. Jo would know this. You fill in the application form. You choose your first and second choice. Some colleges or universities give you like a fourth or third choice, whatever. And then you submit that with your grades, and then you go and sit to do an exam.
Oh my goodness.
Each school had their own exam. So every school had their own exam. So I took an exam for every single university in the top 5 because I was so scared I wasn't getting yet into anything. So anyways, during the application period, right, like I've been applying to like 5 different schools at this point. While I was applying for UP, I know I like humanities and social sciences. I know I don't want to do math or science. So I was looking, and in high school, the only things you know about when in terms of like people and humanities and social science, the only one everybody knew about was psychology. So I'm like, psychology. So my psychology was my first choice in UP. And then I was thinking, well, what's my second choice? I was like, well, I don't want to go business because business feels... Growing up, I felt like business feels stupid, of like, go to school to study things when there are a lot of... I'm Filipino Chinese, so I grew up in a diaspora where there are a lot of amazing businessmen or business people who did not go to business school. So my brain was like, I'm not going to go business school.
I could do that without a
exactly.
business degree.
I was like, I also don't want to do sciences. I don't want to do math. So I was like, what do? And at that time, we were watching the news. And it was like, I think, a fiesta. Parang fiesta sa Tondo ata.
Mm-hmm.
So there was like a fiesta in Tondo and they were covering it in the news. And they were covering the violence during festivals that usually happens.
Yeah.
Na may nagbubugan, may nag-aaway, may whatever. And they interviewed a sociologist. Like there's this guy getting interviewed and at the bottom, I don't even remember his name or what he looks like. I just remember under his name it says sociologist. I was like,
Oh,
sociologist.
fancy.
Yeah, and then the guy was talking about how, there's a different inhibition, blah, 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 when you're in a setting where there's alcohol involved and the celebratory atmosphere, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And the reason I wanted to do psychology was I love learning about people. I love learning about cultures and understanding that. And so listening to him talk, I'm like, I want to sound like that. I want to know people like that. And so I looked through the list of courses and there was sociology there. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's put sociology as my second choice. Went into UP, did my exam, got the results back. Psychology, and I did Bachelor of Science in Psychology because I wanted to. There's a BS. There's a BSc in Psychology and a BA in Psychology.
Yeah, usually it's BA.
I put a BSc because I was like, I want the option to either do medicine in the future, just in case I decide I want to do that. So I wanted a science bachelor's too. But BS Psychology is a competitive quota course, right? Because everyone wants to get into it. So you needed a certain score in your exam to get into it. So I was waitlisted and I didn't get into that one. So I had the option of either waiting for that to open up or to go to my second choice because my second choice is already available. So I was like, you know what? Let's just do this. Let's just go to sociology, sign up for sociology. And then I was like, I'll do 1 year of sociology, get all my grades up, and then transfer into psychology. So I was like, it's probably easier to transfer once you're in university. First week of classes, I had a sociology professor in class, and he goes, para sa mga nandyan na mga psych majors dito, ay na mga, para sa, well, he had a lot of things to say about psych majors, but he also was like, because it was a first year course.
Yeah.
For all of the first year students dito na mga nasa sociology lang para mag-transfer sa psychology, wala akong respeto sa inyong lahat.
Wow.
I'm like, what?
You
was
know,
like,
read your mind.
Yeah, I was like, Lord, what is happening? Why am I hearing this? Because he has this gripe when the psychology and sociology have this like feud-ish, especially in the Philippines. Because sociology feels like psychology is trying so hard to be one of the hard sciences.
Right.
Because it does have like hard science components, right? Like hard versus soft sciences. And sociology is like, just embrace the fact that you're a social science and not a science. But there's that whole thing. And then he went into so many other things, but it just stuck in my brain where he was like, I have no respect for you if you're just here to study sociology to transfer to psychology. So I was like, okay, I'm not transferring. That's how I ended up in sociology.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
So in the what ifs, what would I like have been like? A lot of my friends who did sociology ended up in law school.
Okay.
Because that's one thing sociology is great for, because of the critical thinking and the understanding of society that you get with. It's a good pre-law degree that actually sets you up for understanding law, understanding how to argue in law, and just having a more holistic picture when you go become a lawyer.
Yeah.
So a lot of my classmates and a lot of my friends went into law school. So if we hadn't moved, I probably would have gone to law school.
You would have pursued law.
I would have pursued law.
Instead of medicine.
Because obviously I didn't get into psychology. And back then, it wasn't a thing where you could go into medicine with whatever degree.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think in the 21st century now, most students are able to do whatever bachelor's they want, as long as they have a high enough score and they take all the science credits that they need. They could apply for law school. They could apply for med school.
You mean in the Philippines, right?
Here.
Oh.
Yeah. In the Philippines, it wasn't quite like that. You'd only be able to apply if you had specific undergrad degrees. And it might have been because of the requirements or whatever, but that was my understanding going in. So I was like, when I was in sociology, medicine wasn't a thing anymore. I was like, okay, law school it is. And like I mentioned, I grew up in the Filipino-Chinese diaspora, right? So a lot of my friends are business owners. Their families are business owners. Their families are some of the tycoons that you know about or you hear about in the news. So a lot of them did not really care about what degree they got. because they just needed to get a degree, and then eventually they'll take over the family business or
Right.
they'll
The
work in
heir
family
and the
business.
heiress.
The heir and the heiresses,
Yeah.
the mamsers of my world.
A conglomerate, like
The conglomerates, yeah. The COOs, the child of owners.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
So that was the world that I was in. And my dad did not have his own business.
Mm.
So my dad was one of those Filipino Chinese that actually, we did not have the capital. My parents grew up below, more impoverished, and then they worked their way up into middle class, and then they gave us a great life. But they themselves, they grew up poor. So they didn't have the money to build a business. So they're both employees.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, if there's no business, as Filipino Chinese, the only options for quote unquote success is either you have a business or you have letters next to your name.
Right.
Attorney so and so, engineer so and so, doctor so and so. Those are the only options.
Oh
that
my
we had.
goodness.
So you either owned a business with your name on it or you had letters to your name.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I was in the
Unless you have
Philippines,
both, no?
or you could have both.
Wow.
So if I was in the Philippines, there was no other option
But
than to have
you-
gone into law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if I've gone into law, depending on how things were, because I've thought about this clearly.
Yes.
If things would have opened up, I might have gone into corporate law for the money,
Right.
or I might have gone down some of the paths that some of my friends did from UP, who are now human rights lawyers.
Mm.
Okay.
Which is a very different world. But regardless, I would have been an attorney if I was in the Philippines. Because
Okay.
it's not even a question of would you have done it, would you have had the money, would you be able to complete it?
Yeah.
Because by God's grace, we do have, I know we'd have financial support for it. And also UP was very, very cheap.
Yeah.
Top university was state sponsored, so everything was very cheap.
Okay.
So if I got in, fingers crossed, if I got into UP, I would have been able to do law school pretty affordably, and there was no option of failing it.
Yeah.
So it's not even like, well, you're thinking you could be a lawyer, but could you actually have done law school? I was like, there was no other option. Like, I either did it or life would have been a quote-unquote failure.
Yeah. So yeah,
Would have
I
been,
think you would have been.
Would
I
have
feel
been
you
law
would have
school.
completed law school. Yeah, easily.
I think so. And to answer your question, I also would not have left the Philippines then.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. Because life would have been so. Like, what's the point of leaving?
Yeah,
It's
because
not
then by
like-
then I would have had established a life.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, and then like who knows? Maybe I'm married with kids or
Yeah.
whatever. But like even with our parents, right? The only reason our parents moved was for the kids.
yeah.
So if I was there in the Philippines and assuming there's no family with kids in the picture, I would have been just happy there.
Yeah.
And also with a law degree, right? Like it doesn't fully transfer to other parts of the
Yes.
world.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So then it's not like, oh, I'm an engineer, more or
Or a
less it will
nurse.
transfer, or a nurse
Where it's transferable. Yeah.
where it's transferable with certain exams and other hoops. That's a different
Yeah.
kind of world.
Yeah.
But I would have stayed.
Yeah.
I would have never left the Philippines.
Yeah.
Is there a regret?
I don't think there's regret, but I've definitely had moments where, because remember, I moved to Canada. I was already a young adult.
You were like 18 or 19.
I was 19, I think, was when we officially moved. We landed when I was 18, right? Because we had the same with Andrea. We're like a couple of weeks left before the
Yeah,
visa
yeah.
expired. So we landed officially in Canada. I was 18.
then
But we
you
moved,
actual
moved.
when you were
Actual
19.
move, I was 19. So then most of my friends and most of my life was in the Philippines. And then after 6 years, right, I was 25, I guess, right? 19 plus 6. 25, went back to the Philippines. And then obviously by that time, my friends had these titles. My friends were like doctors and engineers, or they're poised to take over their
Yeah.
family businesses. And I remember going back, and obviously we hang out. And I realized the only reason I could go toe to toe to them in terms of spending for like eating out or activities is because I earned Canadian dollars at that point. Like I was earning Canadian dollars. I was working an entry level admin job at that point. So the title did not feel
Yeah.
as impressive as my friend who now is a nephrologist, but back then she was
Yeah.
still in med school. The other one is an engineer. The other one is computer science engineers. She worked for a big bank. So I was like, I'm like, I don't know in terms of regret if I regret it, because I think if I was in the Philippines, the work environment would have been very different. The access I had to the things I have here would have been very different. But it definitely felt like, but I would have been a lawyer? Would have been a different life?
I bet you your friend who's a lawyer. Do you have friends who are lawyers right now?
I do.
Yeah, so like, you know, if you were to, when you are going back to visit them, I bet you they also be like, oh, my life would have been different if I moved to Canada.
I mean, there's definitely that perspective where they're like, no, but it's, because I think there are two different things, right? Like when I'm talking to them, I'm thinking career-wise.
Right.
Right? Like, oh, it would have been nice to have Attorney Joe, right? Like, it's
ATTY.
ATTY
Yes.
Oh, is that an actual title that people have?
in the Philippines,
Yes.
attorney. Because remember, like what Andrea
Actually,
was
my
saying.
uncle has that title.
Yeah, like what Andrea was saying.
Like
In the
judge.
Philippines, hierarchies are very big.
Yeah.
So if somebody's an attorney, you don't just call them Sir Joe or Sir Adam or Sir John.
By
You refer to them as
profession.
Attorney John,
Yeah.
Attorney
Yeah.
Adam. Similar
With
with
the
doctor.
title.
Yeah, as long as you're a
Engineer.
doctor,
Yeah.
they're always Doctor so and so, Doctor so and so. If you're an engineer,
Yeah.
in Canada we don't hear of Engineer Andrea, Engineer
No,
Steph.
nobody.
They're just like you're just engineer.
Yeah.
Or you're just Steph, you're just Andrea. In the Philippines, like no, they worked hard for their
Oh,
title.
interesting.
They generally get called by their title.
I think it's like education is so hard to
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It's a privilege thing.
But yeah, so there are two different things I think. So I think of the hierarchies, the title, and potentially the money. My friends, you're right, my friends who are lawyers in the Philippines look at me and they're like, would you really trade your
Yeah.
Canadian passport for this for the title of a lawyer? And their perspective is very different because
Yeah.
being a lawyer for me is prestige, is quote unquote power, maybe
Yeah.
Influence.
influence.
Yeah.
For them, they look at me and they're like, but your Canadian passport though, freedom to
Yeah.
travel, subsidized healthcare,
Not even
Yeah.
that, lots of money. I mean, the Canadian money, like, as well.
and earning in dollars. I mean,
yeah.
the lawyers that I talk to in the Philippines, obviously the money that they're earning is roughly at par with what I'm earning.
But they could have
um,
earned more here as lawyers.
Arguably, they could. That's
Like,
true.
seriously, yeah.
Did you
That's
want
true.
to be a lawyer here?
I thought about it, but I think the reason I was not, I'm not a lawyer
segue
here.
to-
Segue to
The next-
part 3 is the money.
Money for what?
Because like we come to Canada, and I came to Canada as a 19-year-old, right? I saw my parents struggle, so I know it's like, okay, money's relatively tight.
Right.
Like the idea for me was, I need to graduate as soon as I could to then start
Earn
earning my
money,
own
yeah.
money to then not be a burden to my parents and eventually help them. And then obviously as you're studying, you hear about all these people trying to get into law school. You hear about how hard it is to get into law school in Canada. And you hear about how expensive it is to go to law school. You hear about how expensive student loans are going to be to go into law school. And then you hear about how making money as a lawyer isn't as prestigious or as glamorous as they make it look like on TV with Suits and Judge Judy and whatever.
They're definitely unhappy.
And that's the other thing. Like, they're also very unhappy. So I'm like, okay, do I really want to spend more years in school with what money to either get more debt and then to potentially maybe make more money? And also knowing how taxes are like in Canada, I was like, how much money can I actually make before most of it goes to taxes anyways?
Yeah.
So like the brain, the mindset that I had coming in as a first generation immigrant, as an adult, watching my parents, watching my siblings, having that panganay feeling responsibility also, right, Andrea?
I can
Of
attest
like,
to that. Yes.
okay, I can't be the burden to my family.
Yeah.
Like, I think at one point my sister wanted to go to med school. So then my brain was like, my parents aren't going to be able to support one of the children going to law school and the other going to med school, knowing how expensive all of that's going to be. So my brain's like, okay, let's just finish a degree, find a job, and figure that out.
Right.
Do I maybe still want to be able to? Maybe. Like, it's still
We're really lucky. I don't know if there's a system set up in the Philippines. I don't know if there's such thing as student loans in the Philippines. I don't think there's a
There
UP.
is.
Is there?
Scholarship, but not
Scholarship, I don't know
not
about
much
student
of a
loans.
student loan.
You just
I
pay
mean,
out
not
of
as big
pocket.
I
not
feel
as big a thing.
There is, but it's not accessible as easily
Yeah.
as it is here.
Yeah, like
At
to
least
get
in BC,
to further
right?
your education, it's not
Yeah.
very accessible. You have to have money.
Yeah.
Here, it's like you know what, we're really lucky that you can just like decide to go to law school
Yeah.
if you can, get in.
Mhm.
And then the financial part, yeah, you might have to go in debt, but like you know what, they have something. Everyone will
You'll
have
get
to
access. Yeah.
like apply for
It's
student
available.
loan. It's available. There's different ways to, and
But
we're so
that's-
lucky that way. That's why everyone knows like education here. There's ways to do it, but you'll be in debt. But then there's a way. The return on investment is there.
No, but that's the other thing. Growing up in the Philippines, student loans aren't a big thing. So then there's no understanding of good debt versus bad debt. In the West, for Canadians and most Americans,
Yeah.
people don't care about student loans. I mean, they kind of do, especially in Canada, not as much as how big it is in the States. People understand, like what you're saying,
Yeah.
that kind of mindset where it's like
An
student loans
investment.
and student loans are an investment. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Coming in as an immigrant, thinking about having 20, 30, 50, 60, $100,000
Yeah.
dollars
Yeah.
in debt
It's
is
just that-
unheard of.
Yeah, it's
Like
just
for us, it's like, no, why are you going to go into debt if you can't afford to go to school? Then you either work and slowly do it. You're not going to put yourself in $100,000 debt
Yes.
just for a degree, because we did not have that concept of
Yeah.
student loans is not it's not the same as credit card debt or a line of credit debt.
Yeah.
But I came here with a very different financial literacy background
Yeah.
too. I mean, I wish I
Like your sister could have gone to med school. Every med student, like I would say,
Every med student's on
95%,
loan,
It's
yeah.
on loan. Like their
Yes.
parents can't support all that.
Yeah.
They're like 300K, 400K. Like, but then like that's so common. Like to get into med school is hard enough. So that's why it's have all these resources available for you, like student loans and whatnot, and scholarships or whatever. And yeah, like it's not like it's like it will sort itself out down the road.
Mhm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
yeah, but that's not a mindset we had.
Yeah.
So I did not think about it that way.
Yeah.
Which then
Yeah.
goes into, I guess, our next what
Yeah.
Mhm.
What is your next what if?
if. What if you're not doing what you're doing right
Oh
now?
my goodness.
What would you have been doing?
In terms of career.
In terms of career.
Wow.
I mean, it could be like, if you're not recording a podcast right now, what would you be doing? I'll be sleeping.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I will be taking a nap.
I love
usual
naps.
No, but
Yeah.
that's...
Let's start with
Yeah.
with Joe. What would you be doing?
What would I be doing? I think if I'm not doing like admin job, and if
In
I'm
healthcare.
and if I'm back home,
Mhm.
I would be doing something in relation with events.
Oh yes,
Yes.
that's right.
Oh, yeah.
110%.
For those
Yes.
who don't know, Jo used to have her own business as a wedding planner.
Yeah.
But then pandemic happened, and obviously people weren't getting married with
Yeah.
with massive budgets and massive,
Yeah.
events.
No, but like events in general, not just weddings.
Yeah.
I had an experience of doing like a private gig for one of the well-known band in the Philippines back then,
Wow.
a rock band.
Okay.
Wow.
So if I didn't leave, that would have been the start of something.
Wow.
Right after, yeah.
Yeah.
Would have been.
God.
Yeah.
Because then you got exposed to that world.
Yeah.
You were working with some
Wow.
people.
And like literally, it's like doing wedding but in a different setting.
Mhm.
Wow.
So yeah, like we booked the bar, tickets. I was even cutting the tickets myself.
Wow.
Just those things, those little things, the details, all of those.
And you also had a wedding planner friend back in the Philippines that you worked with.
Yes, so we put up a shop back home.
Mm.
It's like a one-stop shop, but he already passed.
Mm.
But that's how I started with weddings. He was a designer, so I got exposed to that because we were very close. And then he offered me, "Oh, do you want to be like a partner of this, business, blah blah
Mhm.
blah."
Mhm.
And I said, "Yeah, why not?"
Yeah.
So
But you enjoyed it too.
yeah,
Yeah.
And you're very
That's
good
it.
at it.
that's well. Thank you.
Good.
That's how I got exposed, and that's my first experience with having to live alone. I
Oh.
lived in it was in Las Piñas, and I used to live in Manila, and it's quite far from
Yes.
Manila because it's south.
Southeast.
Yeah, because it's south.
How far is it?
It's far.
It's far.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like few hours to get
Oh,
there.
with the
yeah.
traffic.
With the
too,
traffic
yeah.
and
With the
everything.
traffic, it's not that far without the traffic. Without the
Yeah.
traffic, it's probably like a 45-minute hour drive.
Wow.
But with the traffic, it's like a 2-3 hour drive.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
So I lived there
crazy.
for about a year.
Mm.
Doing this business, like doing
This business plus how do I explain? I was able to work in a company somewhere in Cavite because the owner was actually one of our became one of our client in the wedding. So they hired us to do their silver wedding anniversary,
Yeah.
and this couple, they're like rich and stuff. So they actually hired me to their company
Yeah.
at that time. So I worked there for a little bit, but it's not really my thing because I really want to do the wedding.
What were you doing in that company?
Bookkeeper.
Oh.
Oh, right, your background's in accounting.
Yes. I have so many things, right?
Wow.
And I hated it. I'm
You're the
sorry,
Joe
but
of
it's
all
not-
trades.
I am. So weird, right? But like, accounting is not really my thing. You know.
The math is not mathy.
Yes, it's not. I wasn't happy with that because I really want to do like events. I want to do something creative.
Oh,
Mm.
yes.
I'm a very creative person, I guess.
Yes.
But yeah, so this couple actually, after that whole thing, one of their property they turned into an events place in the south.
Mm.
There, it's called. I hope they hear this. It's called Paradiso Terrestre, somewhere in Cavite.
Okay.
So we were involved in the whole setting all that up.
Wow.
But shortly after that, I left
Yeah.
Is that something you want to explore again
here.
now in Canada? Because you did a
I
bit of a
did.
foray into it,
I did, but
and then pandemic
it-
happened.
not just that. I guess it's different here.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's harder to do that here because you really need a team to do all that.
Mhm.
It's hard to do it all by yourself, or it's just you and me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
Joe and I used to be a 2-person team
Yes.
running weddings.
Wow.
Yes.
Maybe you guys should explore. No. This is what you're running now. This podcast.
If you remember, I
Exploration.
was coordinating your sister's
Yes,
wedding.
I remember that. I was gonna
Yes.
bring that. I was waiting for you to bring that up.
Yeah,
That
so-
was a success.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
stressful, but successful.
Yes, but you know, I like all these things because it's very different each time
Yeah.
because you bring out your creativity.
Yeah.
And you know you're good at it,
Yes.
which is
I
important.
still don't think I am.
Yeah.
Imposter
Imposter
syndrome.
But
syndrome.
I love the you know, like thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
Like it forces you to be creative in small things.
Yes.
Like they would have thought about this, but oh yeah, but this is needed. You know,
Oh, yes.
those things.
So that's a no on trying it out again?
It's different here. I would say it's very hard here
Yeah.
if you don't have a team. Plus, you're like the demographics is different, and we're in Canada.
Yeah.
Like all the suppliers is different from back home.
Yeah.
Mm.
I feel like it's easier to talk to people back there
Yes.
than here. Because I obviously I've seen the difference between the
Yeah.
Philippines and Canada. It's very different, even with how they book their suppliers, how long are they booked for the day.
Yeah. Yeah, how they conduct business is a bit different.
Yeah.
Than
It
in the
is.
Philippines, it feels much easier because there's like a mutual understanding somehow when you do
Yes.
business with them, right? I could see that. Yeah, like how that's why some people who have a business background from the Philippines, when they move here, it's a bit different.
Different.
They
Yeah.
realize
Yes.
it's a much tougher undertaking. Like because culture, everything is different.
And the service industry in the Philippines is also very different. The customer service, the extra steps, extra miles, not just a mile that your vendors would go
Yeah.
to, etc., etc. And I think the main thing that what I'm hearing from you, Joe, is that in the Philippines, kasi you had somebody already in the industry
Yeah.
that then you got into, where then not only did they show you the ropes on how to do it, you got to an extent, get exposed to the relationships they had with their vendors, with their clients, and with their suppliers. Whereas here, starting it out on your own, walang ganon. Wala kang anyone that would be like, here are some vendors that I work with, here are some venues that I have a good relationship with, that you can call on the drop of a hat. Because I think one of the crazy things that most people don't think about in events is that you need plans A to Z.
Yes.
Which means you need a backup for your backup for your backup's backup. And if you don't have those relationships built here, that's gonna cost you thousands and thousands of dollars to be like, if this venue doesn't work out today, I need to be able to find another venue that has the same setup right away for like things to move around. So you reprint the invitations or reprint the program, reprint whatever, and we don't have that here because no one's able to show you the ropes yet. But I still think that's something for you to explore. That what if Jo is back in the wedding business?
Yeah.
Yes.
What if?
What
Let's just
if?
leave it at the what if.
If only.
If only.
Only. But you know what, guys? A side story, okay?
Yeah.
Before I moved, we attended this like seminar thing about having to get like a certificate for the wedding coordinator. And this is an international one. Okay. This is international. It's like an extensive program to do all that because they're trying to make it like a profession.
Oh, for event planning. Wow.
Yeah. So it's run by WBW, Wedding Beautiful Worldwide. Yeah. US. So they had what do you call that? A chapter in the Philippines. Something like that. Yeah. But because at that time it was costly, it was like thousands of pesos
for the certificate.
Yeah. We just attended like the introductory.
Right.
Yeah. And I promised my friend that I will get that one day, which I did when I moved here. But unfortunately, I don't think he didn't get to see that.
Oh.
He didn't get to see that. So I kind of did it
For him.
And aside from that, I also did the one for Canada.
I think I remember that.
Yeah.
So you have Weddings Beautiful Worldwide for Canada and the Philippines?
So the Weddings Beautiful Worldwide, that certificate is
valid in both.
international.
Oh.
Okay. The WCW is the Canada one. It's different. It's run by, I forgot the name. Wedding, I forgot.
Yeah.
But people in Toronto, they came here. I actually attended the program.
In person.
In person.
Wow.
So that's a big what if.
What
What
if?
What if we have money, no?
Sana all.
Sana all to then
Sana
invest
oil.
in that. Sana oil. And I think that brings us now to the end of our part 2
Episode. Yes.
episode.
Part 2 episode
Part
of the
2
series.
episode. Yes.
Ba? Ayan.
Ang dami kasing what if.
Hindi ba uubos ang what if?
Yeah, so then I guess in the next episode then we continue with the what if you're not doing what you're doing now. What would you be doing? And then with Andrea and Steph again. So like, what would you be doing? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Honestly, a lot of I realize a lot of the things that I see and I listen to are because somebody shared it with me. Especially with podcasts, it's not something that I organically find.
Yeah.
So please do, if you like it, please like, share, and do subscribe. Especially now because we're doing a part 3. So for you to hear the next part of the series, please subscribe. We are on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, which you'll get notified for any new posts in all 4 of those platforms. And again, thank you, Andrea and Steph.
Yes,
for-
Yes, thank you.
We'll talk to you again next week
Okay.
to hear about your what ifs.
Ooh.
Thank you, guys. Again, this is titled The Podcast with Jo.
And Joe.
Bye,
thank you.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.